Right then, welcome back to the channel. Stephen Howson, tactical preview. United against Leicester. The run keeps going. We've got to keep pushing. And now we're back to the bread and butter of the Premier League. And we've got to pick up 3 points because, honestly, I think there are slips in City and I think there are slips in Arsenal. And let's just see what happens. It's only February. Let's just see what happens, see how it goes from here. I'm enjoying. It's all right at the moment, but let's just see, yeah? No one's getting carried away or anything. I haven't booked a bus or anything like that. I haven't ordered 3,000 sausage rolls at all. That's just a rumour that I started. Anyway, so what's going on with Leicester? Obviously, United won the reverse fixture 1-0, ending a run of 4 Premier League games without a win against them with 2 draws, 2 defeats. Wasn't happy hunting for us for a minute. Leicester avoided defeat in their last 2 Premier League games against United, 1 win, 1 draw. And they actually had an even longer league run without defeat at Old Trafford, which is in the 70s, which was 4 games, 1 win, 3 draws. United have scored at least once in each of the last 27 Premier League games against Leicester and only City with 28 against Newcastle. I've actually had a longer scoring run against an opponent in the competition. Leicester have won their last 2 Premier League games despite conceding first both times, beating Villa and Tottenham, scoring 4 goals in the process as they've done it. So you've got to be wary of them. They're obviously scoring goals. They're obviously leaky at the back. And that's a recipe for a hell of a game, I think. They are going to be looking to win 3 Premier League games consecutively, the first time they've done that since January 2021, and they've scored more goals in the last 2 victories than they have done in their previous 8 league games combined. So have they just found the magic formula, or they just happen to play 2 teams at the right time? I guess time will tell for us, and tomorrow afternoon we will find out. But United have also scored a league-high 8 Premier League goals via substitutes this season. No side has conceded more goals to subs than Leicester. So, again, something else to consider. Now, how do they play? Brendan Rodgers, as we know, likes to play possession-based football, absolutely committed to doing that, and he's done that throughout his career. But he has got a willingness to be flexible to the demands of the players at his disposal, so he's not always tied to one formation, but he does like to knock it around on the floor more than anything else. Leicester go with a 4-2-3-1 based system for the most part, and Rodgers often reverts to this as soon as everybody is fit, and sometimes adapts around it when players are missing or not quite fit. Now, Leicester begin the build-up phase with their goalkeeper, 2 centre-halves split, full-backs hug the touchline, one of the midfields will drop to receive, and that's how they try and initiate attacks. They have a staggered midfield with one that'll drop off. Again, the dogleg, we've spoke about the dogleg a few times. And Maddison usually sits higher in the 10, looking to try and create things over the other side of the halfway line. He sometimes comes deep, tries to get on the ball if they're up against a team that's pressing them high. And they will attack with as many as 5 players, which is why you often see goals at the other end for them, because they don't just try and one-up it. They do try and build when they get up there and combine. And that's why you see a lot of players on the attack for Leicester. And a lot of the times that's why you see when they do get transitioned against, they get outnumbered because a lot of their players are up the pitch. The wingers stay wide, anticipating a switch of play and giving them an outlet. Iheanacho and Maddison often occupy the box. Tielemans will start his runs from deep, where he usually can't to get picked up from markers. And when attacking in possession, Rodgers likes to use rotations to try and break down the opponent. So a lot of players getting on the move, coming short for the ball, occupying different spaces, seeing if someone switches off in the opposition and they can find and create a gap like that. Most common pattern being Barnes and Maddison will probably overload the left flank and the fullback, and they'll probably then cut it back into the box for Iheanacho to finish. Defensively, it's a 4-4-2. Maddison and Iheanacho line up as the 2. Flat midfield 4, flat back 4. Wingers tuck in, providing cover and also double up against opposition fullbacks. It's a bit of a nuisance to break down at times, as the midfielders in Leicester usually have a bit of energy and dynamism about them, and Didi and Tielemans can combat with anybody. Not quite worked for either of them really this year to the levels that they've set for themselves, but they've also got Tete and Harvey Barnes putting a defensive shift in the wide areas as well. Predicted 11 is going to be something along the lines of this, and the star man can only really be James Maddison, a top player, dangerous creative player, technical, great strike on him, dangerous crossing from the half spaces, which is something that I think United might have to look out for. Really, you can't allow him to get his head up anywhere within 25 yards of the goal, because he will ping one and he's got a rocket on him. He's a really good ball carrier in the middle of the pitch. Everything goes through him that they do. And he's been involved in 21 goals in his last 19 starts. I'm going to say that again. He has been involved in 21 goals in his last 19 Premier League starts. That's 13 goals and 8 assists. We talk about the form Marcus Rashford is in. I think people are absolutely sleeping on James Maddison. And if this is another opportunity to have a go at Gareth Southgate for picking people who don't have any sort of flavour to them whatsoever, Maddison and Rashford, two of the most informed players in world football, Gareth Southgate, not interested. Absolute fucking widge. Anyway, United 11. David Gea in net. I think it'll be Dalot over Wan-Bissaka this week, with Luke Shaw back to left back, Martinez alongside Varane at centre half. That gives us a great base to go forward from. We've still got Casemiro suspended, so I think Fred will be deputised alongside with Sabitzer. Bruno, who knows? Here's the forward four, and they'll line up any way they feel like. Bruno, Rashford, Sancho, Weghorst, play where you want, which is a great attribute for them guys to have. And who's the match winner in this one? Bruno. His performance to the team is too underrated by United fans mostly, and definitely by opposition fans. He is due a goal or an assist. I think he'll be essential against Leicester because they defend in a 4-4-2. It can be quite rigid, and they don't often drop and pick up people in between the lines, and Bruno operates very well in between the lines. And if Rashford plays up top again, you're going to need someone to find him. Sabitzer might be able to do it. Fred won't. So you're going to be looking, really, for Bruno to be able to find him. And you got to cover ground against Leicester, and he does that. And then how does the rest of the team beat them? You got to neutralise the left wing. Maddison and Barnes link up extremely well down that side. It's an area that Maddison drifts in and creates overloads in that area. So on one hand, I would understand if you wanted to play Aaron Wan-Bissaka, but we're at Old Trafford, and I think it's time to put them on the back foot a little bit. And I think you go with Dalot. You go with Dalot and you have Bruno in front of him. You've got energy there. Obviously, they got the national connection as well. And I think you can put them on the back foot. And rather than worrying about them, you actually nullify them just a little bit. So Barnes has been brilliant this season. So instead of worrying about him, let's make him defend. Let's make him track Dalot. If you stop them creating down that side, you pretty much stop them creating. In between the lines, as we said, it's a flat 4-4-2. There's no one off in between the lines for them. So they're not solid in those areas because it can leave gaps. Someone can get rolled out of position, and at midfield two like that, there's gaps. And Didi, out of favour, makes them a lot weaker. Tielemans, as much as I would love to see him at United on the free transfer that a lot of people have been talking about, he ain't having the season of his life. I expect Bruno to thrive in between those areas, potentially Sancho as well. But balls slid down the sides or even in between the lines are going to really hurt them. Not the most mobile centre-half partnership, and a big opportunity for Manchester United to go and get another 3 points and then just let everybody else worry about dropping points. If we just do our jobs, we'll see what happens. And if you keep stringing the wins together, you never know. See you in the next one. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.